this live is basically I put out to the group, I put out to the tribe, and basically asking you what you find is holding you back in your business development, your personal growth, and your goals in your business. What is holding you back and not being where you want to be? And the majority of the people put overwhelming and overthinking. So yeah, basically everyone was saying it's about being overwhelmed and overthinking, which is let's face it, this is what holds, oh God, so many people back in life and in business, okay? So want to kind of try and reframe the thinking a little bit for you guys today, put some kind of help you understand why you're feeling overwhelmed, what you can do when you have that overwhelming feeling, and how you can actually push forward and not pull back, okay? So I'm going to go through a few things that I do, and what has worked for me, because I always feel overwhelmed. I have so many tasks that I have to do in my life and business. So we're going to be talking about feeling overwhelmed and overthinking. And like I said, anyone that's on this live now is going to get a free gift from me. Now, this live is also going to be a podcast and on my YouTube channel. And if you follow my podcasts and you aren't in this group, unfortunately, you'll not be able to get the freebie. So what you need to do is join this group, join this private group. I've got to vet you first before you come in. Join this private group and you can get firsthand the lives, ask questions as we go, and you will be able to get more from me if you are part of this, the Beauty Business Coach group. Okay. I'm going to start. I've had a question thrown in already. I think I try to do too much. I do my website, social media, accounts, marketing, treatments, cleaning. Okay. Get it. That is something that we all do, Claire. And I think in our industry, okay, in the beauty industry, because we are very passionate, independent, stubborn women, we know what we like. We're very creative, but we are very particular. Okay. What I think we do is we actually think that we can do it best. We think to ourselves, you know what? No. I'm going to do this. I can do it best. And we try and do absolutely everything. But there will be things that you do that you don't want to do. Do you actually want to do your accounts? Do you want to do all your marketing? Does that inspire you? Does that excite you? And if it doesn't, this is where you've actually got to actually prioritize and think, you know what? How much would it cost me to delegate that part of the business? How much would it get me to actually do that? So I can then use my creative side to actually put into pushing the business where I need it to go. Because what you'll find is the art of delegation will take your business to that next level. I have got 3 businesses. I'm very, I'm out there massively on social media, and I delegate a lot. I delegate stuff that doesn't excite me because I don't do it competently enough. I procrastinate when I do it. I delve in, delve out, put it on my to-do list, and then it doesn't get done. And then I put my days list, the to-do list the day after, it never gets done. And if you can't realize when you have to delegate something, then you are never going to be able to push forward in what you want to do using the creative side, your special sauce, to push your business forward. And it is absolutely that, yeah, agreeing with me. And trust me, I did it all. I did absolutely everything. And I got to a stage where I'm like, I can't do it. There's no way that I can actually take my business where it needs to be and be that entrepreneur that I want to be, do these lives, do my coaching platform, do everything that I want to do, and do my accounts, my cleaning, my social media, to actually be in people's faces all the time. My social media, I engage with all my clients. I don't have anybody that does any engagement. So if you comment on any post on social media, it's all me, but I don't do all the artwork for that. I ain't got time to do it all. So I've realized that, you know what, how much am I worth per hour? How much am I worth per hour? And then what I then do is think to myself and work out, how much would it cost me? How much would I have to pay somebody per hour to do that? And if it ends up being less than what I'm worth per hour, I delegate it, because then my per hour can be spent on my higher ticket items or my business development and growth. Okay. So that is a really hard thing to do. I'm going to share something. I'm going to share the screen and show you something, Claire, which will really help you put these tasks into certain sections. Okay. I'm going to do that now before I get into the, obviously I know we're here talking about overwhelming, but this is all part of it as well. So let me just share this for you. Now, this is actually on, this is on the platform. So if you are part of the coaching platform, you have this, this here, and you have this in a lesson as well, amongst all of the lessons and spreadsheets as well. But this picture that I'm going to show you now is something that is really important to understand when you have got tasks in your business. Okay. So you'll have access to this anyway. So how do I, wait a minute, share screen. Okay. So entire screen share. Can we see that? Okay. So basically on here, this is showing you, this is the Eisenhower Matrix. Okay. So these are things that you need to want to, or things that you do. Okay. Things that you do. Okay. So basically when you have got a task, when you have got a task in hand, or you've got something that needs to be done for your personal life, your business life, or whatever it may be, you have to put it into one of these sections. Okay. So we have got here in the top left, we've got the urgent and important. So if it's important and it's urgent, it gets on your list and it gets done. Priority, top priority. Okay. And what you'll find on here, there'll be things on here that you know have to be done and is important to you as an individual, as a business, and as an individual, that you need to do to take your business or take your life to the next level. Okay. Now that has to be priority. But what happens is, because some of these can be quite scary because they may be big tasks, or you feel overwhelmed because of the prospect of this actually being a really good business move, it gets pushed further and further and further down the list. So it's very important that you recognize when something is important and urgent. When you then have a task that needs to be done, okay, you need to look at that task and think, right, is it important but not urgent? And if that is the case, if it's not urgent but it's important, it gets scheduled. Yeah, you get that task and you schedule that in the diary for a later date, for the end of the week, for next week, for tomorrow. Okay, so you need to recognize the difference between urgent and not urgent. Okay, these are both important things to do in life and business, but you need to recognize whether it's urgent or not urgent. Okay, and then you have got these down here. Now, we touched on this a second ago, Claire, about that you do the marketing, the accounts, the cleaning, everything else. Is that urgent? Okay, do you need to clean the salon every day? Yes, you do. Okay, is it not important to you? Do you think the task of cleaning and accountancy or whatever it may be, is that important to you? Do you find that of a high importance for you? And if it's not important, but it's urgent, you delegate. You delegate. That is the section you delegate, because what's going to happen is you are not going to do that to the full potential. You are going to procrastinate. You're going to keep putting it off. You know it's urgent. You know it needs doing, but it's not important to you. It doesn't inspire you. It doesn't motivate you. It doesn't excite you. Okay. So that is the section where you feel it needs to be delegated. Then you will have all the fluff, the stuff which is not important and not urgent. And these will be things like, you know, I don't know, bloody going to the fridge again, going to make another coffee, going to check social media for a 6th time, going to check your emails for the 20th time that morning. It's not important. It's not urgent. Schedule that you check your emails twice a day. It's doing little things like this is going to distract you from what is important and urgent, and it's going to break up the flow of these tasks that you need to and want to do in your business. So it's very important that you use this Eisenhower Matrix to actually put your task into section. But where a lot of people struggle is the delegation. Okay, so it's very important to actually know the tasks and get them in the right section. Okay. So if you're jumping on now and you've got any questions, fire them into the chat. Okay, so basically being overwhelmed is basically an intense emotion that you have that is difficult to handle. Okay, so you will have this intense feeling, this intense emotion of overwhelming feeling, and it's difficult to handle. It's difficult to break out of that. Okay, and then what a lot of people do is then they will pull back. Okay, so what I've realized, I get overwhelmed so much because my goals and my business and everything that I want to do is so big and so grand. Like with me, the sky is the limit. Like what I want to do is just ridiculous. Okay. So I get overwhelmed with the amount of tasks that I've got to do to get to this goal, this dream, this big business development, whatever it may be. I have so many things and I get overwhelmed by that. So how I've kind of reframed this, okay, which should help you massively. What I do is I treat this overwhelming feeling as clarification that this is what I really want. Okay. If I didn't feel overwhelmed with all of these tasks into, now I'm talking, you know, I know Claire, you touched on, you have so many parts of the business, but if you decide to pick this one business goal or this one business idea that you've got in progression in your business, you decide to pick this one thing and you hit a wall where you get completely overwhelmed with it. If you treat that as clarification that this is actually what you want, because clearly everything is becoming too heavy, too big, too mammoth. So I treat that overwhelmed feeling as clarification of, you know, what if all these tasks that I do eventually do pan out to then be in this big goal, this big dream? And what if everything turns out exactly how I want it? That's a ridiculous emotional feeling that I feel. So I treat that overwhelming feeling as clarification that what I'm working on and what I need to do, all these tasks that I need to do, are going to get me towards this big goal. So that's the first thing to look at that overwhelming feeling with, okay? If you're overwhelmed by tasks that are not important to you and they're non-urgent, then that's when you need to then realize that, okay, I need to delegate that, or I need to take that as, you know, bin it, don't do it. It's not urgent, not important. If you're getting overwhelmed with all these small things, that's when you need to then prioritize them in the Eisenhower Matrix, okay? But if you're getting overwhelmed with something because you're wanting to develop the business and you've got these goals and all these tasks that you need to do, treat that as clarification that, okay, this is actually what I want. So there's a few things that you can do to actually tackle this overwhelming feeling so you can enable yourself to push forward and not fall back, okay? Because when people get this intense emotion, they tend to then pull back, retract, and then don't do anything. Now, that's going to add to feeling overwhelmed, because if we don't deal with tasks or deal with things as they in order of importance and as they come at us in life, you know, life and business, family, relationships, finances, you know, the salon running, whatever it may be, if we don't deal with these little tasks as they come up, then we are then going to be overwhelmed, because we're going to then have this accumulation of all these things that we need to do. So then when we have a moment to think, right, I need to get some stuff done, you're going to feel completely overwhelmed because you've not dealt with them as they have in order of importance and as they have approached themselves. So it is very important to make sure that you deal with these small tasks that are important as you go along and not let them build up. Small tasks that come up or tasks that need to be done in the business that are not important to you but are urgent, you then source a way to delegate them, get somebody to do them, pass that job on, so then you can then focus on moving forward the important and the urgent tasks that you want to do, okay? So what happens is we need to make sure we prioritize things, okay? And like I said, using the Eisenhower Matrix will really, really help with that. But you need to make sure you prioritize things. And I'm not just meaning a to-do list. You know, a lot of people will have a to-do list. They'll write it every night. They'll even on the day after, they'll do something extra that wasn't important. Then they'll write it on the to-do list just to cross it out, okay? We all love a to-do list, but it's making sure that that to-do list is prioritized. It is prioritized of importance, of absolute importance. And then your non-urgent doesn't even need to be on there. Non-urgent, not important, needs to be off that list. So it needs to be prioritized. If you're prioritizing your business tasks and your life tasks, then you will be able to deal with that overwhelming feeling better. Okay. So what a lot of people tend to do, the overwhelming feeling can come at us on many angles, but we also we have a state of comparing as well. Okay. A lot of people out there compare. Social media, we all compare where we are to where other people are. Now, for one, Facebook is a lot of smoke and mirrors, okay? Not everything you see on Facebook and social media is true. We all should know that. But what if it was true? If it was true, and you are looking at other people that have developed a training course, they've developed a really full diary, they're announcing that they're fully booked till January, they're announcing that they are creating a online coaching platform, they're doing all of this and they're broadcasting on social media, okay? They were where you were at one point, yeah? So comparing yourself and pulling back and overthinking and thinking, oh, well, it's already been done. Oh, she's done it. Oh, she's better than me. How can I ever do that? They were where you were. Okay. A year ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, they were feeling exactly how you're feeling now. But what they did is they prioritized, they got a goal, they did a detailed plan of that goal, and they started chipping away at these small tasks to enable them to get to this training platform that they've got, or this coaching this webinar, this new salon, this new online Facebook paid group, or whatever it may be. That didn't just appear. They've worked relentlessly in the background, behind closed doors, behind the smoke and mirrors of Instagram and Facebook to get to that part. So you need to remember, you need to stand on the shoulders of these people, okay? You need to follow these people. You need to watch these people, see what they're doing. And I'm not saying copy off anybody, but use this as an inspiration. This envy that you are having towards these people, use that as inspiration, because they were once where you were. And if they could get there within 2 years, you could get there within 2 years, a year, or 6 months. So it's very important to, if you are comparing, realize that one, it's not all real what we see. And two, they were where you were once upon a time. They may be smashing it right now, but they were once where you were by overthinking, feeling overwhelmed, having all these ideas and not having the time to do it, not being able to prioritize the time, like Claire said, because she does everything in the business and she doesn't have the time to push her business forward because she's doing everything in the business that she could easily delegate for and probably save an absolute fortune because she's worth more. So make sure that when you are looking at these people that seem to be or are smashing it, they were once where you were. Okay. So remember that. And then what tends to happen as well is when we do that, we start to doubt our own ability and we talk to ourselves in, possibly a negative way. A lot of things that can add to this overwhelming feeling is, if you've got these big goals, these big tasks that you need to do to get to where you want to be, you might start saying to yourself, oh, I need to do that, but I'm not as confident as her. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good on camera. The problem is I can't do that. The problem is I'm not tech savvy enough. The problem is it'll take me too long. The problem is I'm not confident enough. The problem is I don't know how to use technology. The problem is, and we always say the problem is, I can't do that. I'm not smart enough. And we do that all the time. So a couple of ways that I overcome these hurdles, and these are so easy to do. The first thing you need to do is, when you say to yourself, I can't do that because the problem is I'm not smart enough, or the problem is I'm not confident enough. Change that word problem. Remove the word problem for your diary, from your vocabulary, sorry, and replace it with challenge. So you have now says to yourself, that's really hard for me to do. The challenge is I'm not smart enough. By saying the challenge is I'm not smart enough, rather than the problem is I'm not smart enough, you've just set yourself a challenge. You have just gone, oh shit, now I've got to challenge myself. How can I be smart enough? Okay. If I don't think I'm smart enough, what can I do? What can I do to make me feel smart? And what that answer will probably be is actually take action on this task that you're putting yourself off on. Is that the right word? So for instance, I've had that limiting belief all my life that I'm not smart enough. This was probably put on me through my childhood of school because I was shit at school. Okay. I was not as smart as my sister. I didn't want to go to school. I couldn't really read much. Didn't really read a book until probably my 30s. So I was out in my head, I was never smart enough. I'm not smart enough. The problem is I'm not smart enough. So I'm like, but I wanted to write a book. I wanted to write an ebook, a short mini book. So I'm like, right, the challenge is I'm not smart enough. So what can I challenge myself to do to make me feel smart enough? And then, I've frozen. Oh, I'm back. And then what happened is I then did the book. I then thought, you know what? How can I actually do this book? I need to do this. So I actually did it via voice note. I did it via Siri and actually wrote the book with me talking into my phone while I was having a walk. And then I actually then put that into did it online and transcripted it into a readable format, got somebody to check it for grammar. Then I released it. Then I sat and read that book, that little mini ebook. And I was like, fuck yeah, I am all right. I am smart. So then that put me on an upward cycle, not a downward cycle. We don't talk about a downward cycle. That put me on an upward cycle to think, okay, I didn't think I was smart enough. I challenged myself. I kept saying to myself, the problem is I'm not smart enough. I changed that word to the challenge is I'm not smart enough. I then challenged myself to actually do the task I wanted to do. I did it, got fantastic feedback. I read it, thought, damn, she's fucking smart. Now, nothing stops me. Nothing stops me. When I need to do something where I would have previously thought I wasn't smart enough, I then take action, do it, and I then become on this upward cycle of then feeling smarter and smarter and smarter. Okay, so that's the first thing I want you to do. When you are feeling completely overwhelmed because you've got all these things you want to do, you want to take your business to the next level, you've got all these tasks, what are you saying to yourself? Are you saying, I can't do that because the problem is? If that is the case, change that word problem to challenge, obstacle, my mission, whatever it may be. As soon as you change that word, you have then put a whole other spin on that. You are now going to challenge yourself to then do that one thing you feel you're not capable of to then push yourself forward. So that is a really good way that I get my head around all these tasks. Okay. And if you really feel that, you know what? The problem is I don't know how to do that. You either think to yourself, right, okay, I either challenge myself to learn how to do that, or I then just delegate it. Okay, I need to do it. It's of an importance to me. I will just delegate it and get somebody else to do it and take off that pressure of that small task that's eating away, that needs to be done, that's making me feel overwhelmed. I either challenge myself to learn how to do it, or I then delegate it if it doesn't inspire me, okay? So it's very important on how we talk to ourselves.